Okay, so we are going to use what we learned with the pen tool to kind of practice our point manipulation and really get into really what the crux of Illustrator is about. And it's the idea of having control over all of these points. So you're going to download that image in the Canvas point manipulation assignment. And we're going to open this one in Illustrator. So it's that 3256. Probably will be near the top, and you should get something like this that opens up. So what we're going to do is, if we hit V on the keyboard, that should take us to our selection tool. So we're going to click on the image, and then right up here, if you do not see any options, if yours looks like this, you don't see any options up here, then you go to Window and click on the word Control, and then you should see these options up here. We're going to click right here on Image Trace. That is going to make this a black and white image. Now, this next step is very important before you hit Expand, because if you just hit Expand, and then we were to go in and do what we need to do, and we go to the pen tool, and then we can start to see these little subtraction symbol, which means to delete points. Let me show you a good example. So this corner right here, if I zoom in, find a corner, let's see. So this one right here would work. If I delete that anchor point, you'll notice that this path is still there. So if you don't do this step, then you'll have to keep deleting these anchor points twice. And it can be very kind of annoying because you might accidentally just start a line segment with the pen tool. So this is what you need to do. All right, so after we have image traced it and before we hit expand, we need to make sure that we click on this. This is your image trace panel or your options. Now, when you click on it, something like this will pop out. We need to open up the advanced folder and we need to click ignore white. So that is what that second path was. It was the white fill of the area, and that's why there were two anchor points and two paths. So then we can get rid of this. And now if we go in here and expand, and we even go, so we see all of these anchor points now. And by expanding, that is what allows the program to realize or to know that there is information within just this outer blue perimeter right here. And that is where your anchor points come in. So if I were to go into this same area, I believe it was this one right here, and if I hit P on the keyboard, just like in Photoshop, that'll take me to the pen tool. And if I were to just delete that anchor point, now that anchor point is gone. That second pass is no longer there. So your goal is to try to smoothen this out. If you notice, it is very rough right here. So like right here, we might want this to be a nice and smooth kind of half circle path. So if I were to go in, and what you'll realize is when it comes to the pen tool, the less anchor points you have, the better. So do not be afraid to delete a lot of anchor points. You may think that you are messing it up, which let me just tell you, you cannot mess it up. If you ever do anything that just doesn't look right, you just hit Command Z and undo. But right now I am getting rid of all of these anchor points. If I notice right here, it'll say anchor, and I want to click on that. If I'm on the path, I'll see a plus symbol, and that'll add an anchor point, and I don't want to do that. If I hold Command, I turn into the direct selection, and I can actually click on that anchor point and move it. If I hold Option, I can move these handles. So right now I'm just trying to get rid of as many of these as possible because I think I can go from right here, maybe to all the way to the other side, and thus giving me a nice smooth transition. Okay, we'll even go from right there. So if you notice right here, I've deleted all of those. And the big thing with Illustrator is realizing that it's just communication. So it looks like we've got some weird thing happening right here, and you might tend to panic. But if we realize what it is telling us, it is telling us that from this point to this point, so just like connect the dots, so all those anchor points are gone. So now it has to go from this point to this point. And with this overlapping right here, we tend to see some kind of, some parts are white, some parts are black, but we're not going to concern ourselves with that. We're going to hold Option. We're going to grab this handle, and you can see that the area that I want to be is still filled in with the color black. So now I have a nice smooth transition. So if I were to deselect it, then I just have a nice, very smooth, unjagged path right here. So that is your goal. Your goal is to try and make this as smooth as possible. So you are going to have to delete a lot of anchor points, and then you will save this as an AI file. That is fine, and then you will turn this in. And that'll be for your point manipulation. Please take your time with this. You should not necessarily be able to finish this in one class period. It should take a little bit of time. And thank you.